Hello and welcome to episode 11 of our Timberborn Update 6 Emberpelts hard mode playthrough here in Cycle 17, Day 3. 3 days before a bad tide, and yes, friends, we're going to pause because, well, a couple of reasons. First off, the automated water pumps are not finished being constructed yet, and as many of you pointed out, this is a really dumb way to do the power delivery. So, since almost none of this has actually been constructed, we have the opportunity to just say no to nonsense. If we could go ahead and get this set up in a much better way, this could be a whole lot faster. So let's go ahead and just take that out of here. Take that out of here. Take that out of here. That's already there, so I have no reason to remove it. But I think the thing that's going to make the most sense for us to do is going to be to just come in here with our power shafts and just do one of those and do one of those and then undo that. Of course, that one's already been built. Well, that's the way it goes. Then replace that with this. So what that's going to do is that's going to cut out a whole lot of nonsense building. This should be a lot faster to actually build. And all we have to do is get that situated, then get that built, and then we'll be that much closer to actually having one of these automated pumps ready to go. And that is turned the wrong way. Or is it? Yeah, I'll go ahead and flip it back the way the other ones were. Just so everything matches. That'll be just fine right there. And yeah, there you go. So that's what we're starting with. That's what we're starting with. Also going to go ahead and put that path back in. So now this is all ready to go. Perfect. Reminder, this is hard mode, so the bad tides could have a substantial length, but I believe no longer than 30 days. But let's be honest, 30 days is still plenty long enough to cause major problems for our beavers, especially because we only currently have 27, almost 2,800 water. So they're definitely going to be taking care of that, probably probably a little more than they should. But we also had a bunch of people say that we should have the fluid dumps. Well, this isn't even automated, first off. Well, actually, no, this one is. Okay. Well, then, what are they talking about, then? Yeah, these are both automated. Alright, well, maybe I just read the thing wrong, but at any rate, the consensus in the comments seems to be that these should be more full. And, yeah, we can do that. But I would like to get more water stored first before we worry about sticking it elsewhere. So we also could take these inventors away, but for right now, it's a good way to get beavers who aren't doing anything to still be productive. We will probably get rid of that at some point. We also have the ability to continue pumping additional bad water, and some very kind souls have done math, and apparently, if this is to be believed, the fuel recipe down here at the bottom that uses the beets is actually the superior recipe based on labor involved. I just gravitated to this because bad water is essentially useless after a certain point, and this will be a good way to utilize it. But yeah, if we can grow a whole lot of beets, this definitely does make sense to make a bunch of fuel. But unless we're going to have a whole lot of bots, we probably don't need to worry about having that much fuel anyway, because as somebody else also pointed out, the liquid fuel engines only consume 1 unit of fuel every 2 hours. So in a day, they'll consume 12 units of fuel. This recipe, to make fuel, makes 30, or let's say 2.5. Yeah, math. I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. But point being, one recipe iteration of the beet fuel is going to power one of these things for multiple days. So I don't think it's that serious. I think we're going to be fine. But we can try the different recipes. You know, that's part of the fun of doing this with the new stuff that this mod affords. But we also have bots, which of course are going to be running on the fuel and require the fuel to actually get built. So we'll keep that in mind as we're moving forward. Right now, though, I've got to put in this one downward power shaft so this can actually get situated. I didn't put this in on purpose because I wanted to make sure they could actually build everything, and that would be a-okay. I'm going to go ahead and dynamite this. What that does is just keeps the water off of the ground here. In theory, there it goes. So that when this is bad water, we really, really minimize our risk of having this be a colossal ecological disaster. I love how red the power shafts are in this mod. I haven't really made too many power shafts. I know we have this, but I, for whatever reason, did not notice it. But this should, operative term being should, put us in a pretty good position. We have the materials to build all this. The builders just need to get building. And we do have builders. We are good to go. We have, I think, including the district center, we've got 16, which is very nice. Uh-oh, somebody accidentally got wet fur. That's no good. But yeah, there's a lot of different things to take care of today. So I'm not really willing to say, today we're going to do X, Y, and Z, because you know how these things go. I have one thing that starts happening, and then all of a sudden I get distracted by something shiny off in the distance, and then the whole thing just, yeah. But one thing I can tell you is that we're going to have maple pretty soon. We're going to have the maple syrup, which is going to need to be collected. We do have this set as a supply, but we're going to have storage down here for use in processing. And I think we're going to want to make a little bit of room over here for some other stuff. I've got some canola oil here that would be very, very nicely at home in a large underground tank, which if we replaced these three, combined total of 900, this holds 2,400, so obviously that's going to be a much better move, and then we're going to have one for maple syrup as well. We have tomato juice, we have corn juice, we have beetroot radish. We have a lot of beetroot radish juice. And we have apple juice. So all of those things are going to be improved. But I think right here is going to be the best spot for us to put those underground tanks. So these kilns will need to go away. This was never really a permanent good spot for this anyway. We got a lot of bricks. We're not really going to need to worry about those too much. I've already got the storages for them, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know what? That one can go away, and for right now, we'll just have this one if we need to do something about it. And yes, I don't have anywhere else to put the canola oil, so it is going to just be spilled on the ground. We'll be alright. We'll be resilient. We'll choose to face this with courage, and we'll leave it on the ground. It's going to be okay. But we'll get that built, and then, of course, we'll have one for the maple syrup as well. And it actually looks like we have everything ready to go, so you know what? Everything on the ground. Why not? And that's going to be set as a thing to obtain. This is going to be set, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. But once we have the maple syrup, very exciting, we'll be able to turn on both of these bakeries. We'll be able to make some other food items, which brings us back to the original thing we were talking about, I don't know, 2 episodes ago. We need to organize all these crops a lot better. And, you know, it's one of those things that, say it with me, just takes time. But we'll get there. We'll get there, and it'll be fine. This is waiting on planks, so I'm just going to triple speed this because, you know, it really doesn't matter. Get all this stuff in here, and we can start automatically pumping just as soon as the beavers remember that they have stuff to bring over here. You know how it goes. Now, we also, don't forget, have to have the tapper shack to even get this in the first place. And there is some syrup to be tapped. So, again, just takes time. We'll get it done. Looks like they're bringing in the last of the pieces now, and just have to get that thing wrapped up nice and quickly. Please, and thank you. There's a day and a half left, and I know we need to have access to this water. Come on. There we go. There we go. Prioritized by haulers. So, not the most ideal situations here with the water, but it's going to be okay. Don't worry. We're going to be able to make a whole lot more juice once we get this kind of situated. As long as we have enough water to do irrigation, then everything is going to be just fine. No cause for alarm. Now the problem we're going to get to is, I don't know that they can actually get this other one built before we have the bad tide come in. So, could be an interesting scenario in which we basically don't have any more clean water for possibly up to 30 days. Oh, I love it when stuff happens. All right, so other stuff you guys mentioned. Yes, we do have a leak here. And that's something that we can pretty easily and cheaply fix, but I'm not going to do it yet because, again, we have a bad tide coming in. But do know that this is on my radar, so appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Very, very simple to fix this with just a couple of levees, and that will put a lot more of this clean water through our area here. And then, of course, we have this thing here as well. I could very easily just dam this up, but again, for right now, don't think it's going to be a problem. What we could also do, if we wanted to be a little bit forward-thinking, is we could put sluices here that would only let bad water through, and then remove all this so that all of the bad water just kind of, well, not all of it, but a decent portion of it would flow through here, and then, you know, not end up coming through all of this stuff. You know, we got a lot of stuff. They didn't finish this. They didn't finish it after all that. What a shame. Well, it says, wow, really? 99 days? Well, that's because they're not drinking it, I guess. Well, we'll see. And there are other areas, to get back to what we were talking about before, like right here and right here that we could dam up. Okay, 16-day bad tide. You know, casual. I think we'll be all right. But yeah, long term, I would like to have all of this come through here, and that would be a very, very nice thing for us to be able to do. But, you know, it all comes in time. It's just the way it goes. We've got a lot of food optimization to do here, especially now that this has contamination barriers. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to here. Get some additional contamination barriers put in. I think this probably will do. Yeah, see, look how red this is. That is, well, it shouldn't reach where these currently are, but I want to be planting a bunch more stuff. We'll get there. We'll talk about this a little bit more. But hey, I guess they're still able to get some clean water out of this. Yeah, but 15 more days, we're going to be okay. I just wish I would have done this a little bit sooner, just a little bit. So, you'll see that become a thing. Now we have canola oil ready to go. We got some on the ground. I know they'll get that picked up in due time. And this just needs to be finished, and we'll be able to have maple syrup, which means we can have bakeries. All of them turned on, so now we are theoretically making every food in the game, even if it is going to be suboptimal for quite some time. Every recipe is enabled, and that's a nice achievement to have under our belts in episode 11 of hard mode. And yeah, so at this point, it's just going to be about making sure that we are actually producing enough raw materials. Corn still probably needs some more help. Apples definitely need some more help, and if we're going to be making the fuel out of the beets, we're going to have more of those as well. But like I said, all of this is going to come in due time. They can't reach this, so let's give them a little bit of help here by putting another path in. Are we actually still getting... Wow, okay, a tiny bit. I guess that's fine. Should be okay. So let's take a moment and talk about some other good suggestions I received. I haven't decided fully if I'm going to do them yet, but I did like them, and I wanted to let you guys know about them. We have all of this space here that could pretty easily be turned into a decent clean water reservoir, which would also mean water would flow through here and irrigate a bunch of this pretty nicely. I don't know if we're going to end up doing it to the fullest extent of what some of you guys suggested, but I do think it's a smart idea to kind of start making a reservoir up here. Just because all of this that comes through, even if all we did was just connect this and then maybe through to here or even just across here, this is a very, very good spot to be collecting some clean water. Even if we're not going to need it. One, it would look cool. Two, we could employ some sort of mechanized water separation with the help of the mechanical fluid pumps, which I almost never use, and I feel like we really should be using more of this stuff in the game. Obviously, we don't have the science to research it right now, but that could be kind of a fun thing to build, you know, make an aqueduct and then figure out some other way to reclaim some land up here for either farming or just because we can purposes. You know, that's always fun. But yeah, just want to let you guys know about that. That was a cool thing I did see. And it looks like, yeah, see, look at all this fun stuff. We just got to get more apples. So that's another one of those things that we can slowly work on implementing. Hey, nice. Well-being's up to 23. As we get more stuff figured out here, it looks like this is actually pretty good here. So, considering how this path layout is going to be done, we probably should try to straighten as much as we can. Granted, this probably isn't that big of a deal. If I were to go straight here, then that would cut off a little bit of travel time for, I always want to say people, beavers traveling, you know, all these zigzags here. But once we decide exactly how this is going to be functioning, then I think we're going to be looking at this a little bit differently. I think what I want to do is in this general area, maybe right about here, go ahead and unplant, say these, actually, no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. What are these? Tomatoes. Yeah, I'll replant those. We can blow this up right here if we're going to keep the path. That's what it's called, the thing the beavers walk on. Sheesh. We're going to keep that where it's supposed to be right here. Then this would be a good place for irrigation. That would reach most of the way out to here. Actually, I think that there's a way to measure this. What was it? Was it 15? Is it 15 tiles? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10. This would be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. If it's fully set up, then that would irrigate pretty much all of that. But what I'm trying to do is kind of spread out the irrigation. You guys have asked for this as well. So that we don't have to just keep dumping all of this in here to evaporate like this. And it's kind of twofold. One, you concentrate the area of water that is for irrigation so it doesn't evaporate as fast. And two, we can kind of reclaim some of this land for planting trees. Remember that trees are a lot more tolerant to droughts and whatever than the crops are. So if we were just, for example, to plant a bunch of apple trees down here and we didn't water this at all, then they would be totally fine. Totally fine. And we could cut this up a little bit and just put in some levees, say, right here, and then just irrigate this. Or, without even irrigating it, just put a sluice in here and only let clean water through. Because remember, we've essentially completely purified, well, not during a bad tide, but essentially completely purified this thing. Look at this, 25. We got all this food coming in. That's cool. So, yeah, getting evaporation to decrease is always going to be a smart choice. And I totally forgot I had this still in here. Okay, yeah, there was at least one person that reminded me of that. So, appreciate you guys looking out. Yeah, just in the interest of, you know, not dumping all of our water for no reason. Just building this stuff here so everything is nice and contained. And then just making sure everything can get irrigated. I know this here is going to irrigate a decent portion of this. This will irrigate a decent portion of this. And then I think what I'm going to do is where this farmhouse is, I'm going to blast out underneath it and have that be irrigation as well. And then we'll have so much more room, not only for activities, but also for apple trees, and get everything just really, really nicely situated. And yes, this was the fluid dump that was not automated. That I will concede. That I will concede. I didn't have that set up right. So yeah, I know this isn't 3x3. It's 3, 4, 4. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need to worry about it. So that will get automated. This will also, well, it has the stream gauge now, but nothing's linked to it. This will need to have its own fluid dump, which is a very simple thing for us to go ahead and do. No issues there. And I think that's going to be good. What we can also do, you know what? You know what I didn't try? Oh, yes. Oh, that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, let's get those logs back. Ah, yeah. There we go. Oh, I love it when that happens. That's such good space usage to do that. Well, this will slowly evaporate over time, as one does. 58%. All right, we can afford to get rid of this. I don't want to wait anymore. And now that we actually have the dynamite, we can make stuff happen. And we don't need to have more than one depth. I know. I've always liked doing it double, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. We're not really going to be in a terrible spot. So I guess this would be official endorsement of not moving the path, which, yeah, it's fine. Don't need to worry about it. But we will end up moving this farmhouse onto here, which will be a little bit more centrally located for having this entire thing ready to go. Just little bits and pieces, making it happen one bit at a time. I'm also going to, well, I did say I was going to get rid of these anyway, so we might as well. Just go ahead and say goodbye. Get those out of there. And I do want to substantially straighten this path out. If I come in here and do just straight through this mess, then, ooh, it's not quite going to fit. Not quite going to fit. Well, what will go all the way into this corner? Wait, I got dynamite. What am I doing? I can just blow it up. I don't need to sit here hemming and hawing about it. Just do it. Go ahead, blow that up, and then we'll just have this path be completely straight all the way into the corner, which will allow us to also make good use of our space in here. So we can go ahead and eliminate some of this unnecessary pathing here. And then, oh yeah, I forgot we also need to take care of this. Oh, you know what would have been very smart for me to do would be to not have required path access to over here so I didn't have to worry about it, but I guess it's fine. I guess it's fine. I will go ahead at some point in the near-ish future. Well, we have to wait for this to evaporate anyhow. But we'll go ahead and put some stairs down here so we can get some apple trees planted. And we can harvest them and, you know, probably going to make the most sense to just go ahead and have this unplanted and then have, I suppose... No, we can give up one farming square. I would like to still have the trees in here. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and put this there. I know the beavers don't like to get wet. We're not going to make them get wet. Don't worry. I'm just, you know, making sure this is ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. All right. Now, I have paused the game because I want to arm all of these on the path at the same time so nobody accidentally gets blown up. Look at that. Beautiful. I have also just now realized the error of my ways in that I need to have a fluid dump here. And I'm not going to be able to do that if I put a farmhouse in here. Oh no, I need the path to go through this. Okay. Well, we're going through it all right, but that's not a... Oh man, I'm going to have an asymmetrical hole here. That nobody wants that. Well, I don't know. So that's going to require... I have so much extra space, I don't need to worry about this. Just go ahead and unplant all of this, and then we'll just make it work. We'll just do it anyway, because that's how it goes. Go ahead and blast that thing out of there. Put this farmhouse in place. And then, yeah, this will all just get shifted. So, I'm going to do the potentially unwise thing of just unplanting all of the crops. Not the trees. Not the trees. Unplanting all the crops, and we're just going to do a full reset. Remember, we have 10,000 food, so it's okay if everything gets completely reset. Yes, even the corn. It's okay. I want this to be just slightly less stupid, if that makes sense. I think we can all appreciate that sentiment. Well, hopefully. Yeah, we're trying to clean things up. Okay, so that fluid dump there. This should, I guess it doesn't have to be automated, but we do have the option in the future, should we so choose, to put in more dynamite down here, and then, of course, use the trick we did a long time ago, of putting the stream gauge. Of course, once this is blasted out directly underneath this, but I don't think that's going to be a thing we need to worry about, so should be okay. And yeah, look at that, it's all irrigated. It's all irrigated. And this farmhouse, actually, you know what? It's okay to leave these guys employed because they're drawing from, I believe... Oh, you know, I didn't deprioritize the builders' huts. All right, well, that was a good thing to check on. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, O'Reilly. We need to have this hooked up. That was something somebody left a comment on. Do not remember who it was, but the log storage here absolutely needs to be hooked up for them to be able to use it. I know, shocking revelation there. Look at this, 26. Very good. We got injured beavers. We got these beds. I think that's enough beds. Should be. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. We have so much more irrigation happening now. It's already looking pretty good. Now, when this dries up, obviously that's going to become an issue, but we will get there when we get there. Get that nice and taken care of. As a reminder, this one is going away, which I'll just go ahead and get rid of it. So now this guy is going to have dominion over all of this, which hopefully, depending on how we choose to lay this out, is going to be fine. Then I'm not opposed to keeping 4 of these here. The thinking that I was trying to hash out before I hit record was these farmhouses that are further out, anything past them probably should be stuff that isn't going to be picked as often. So they can, you know, not have prime crossover real estate taken up by crops that are going to take 10 days to grow. So I think basically anything past this farmhouse, and then past this farmhouse, however we want to do that, probably should be stuff like corn and wheat. Honestly, most of it's almost certainly going to be corn, and that's fine. We can live with that. But the stuff in this middle area here that is accessible by most of the farmhouses, or the majority, or more than one, or whatever, should probably be the stuff that grows quickly. Also, keep in mind that we still don't have very good storage for the raw materials. So, that's something else we're going to have to think about. Basically just using, outside of these finished food products here, which, hey, we have a completely full storage of grilled corn and almost completely full storage of the bell peppers there. We don't have good storage for most of the raw food items, although we do have storage for everything. We don't have great storage for everything. So I'm thinking, now that we have metal, actually, in science, we can start doing these overhangs like what I was saying before. Not on top of the tanks, because the tanks are cool. We want to be able to look at the tanks. Well, it's not that these aren't cool. It's just we've seen those before. It's fun to have the different colors. But I believe this is going to be a smart thing for us to do. Just get that all built. We'll put in ladders and stuff to get onto the sides, or actually could probably do that right here too and be pretty smart about it. But we've got plenty of room for large warehouses, which to this point I have avoided building because I didn't feel like we really truly needed them. But yeah, we've got the materials. We have the industrial capacity to build all this stuff. So we'll go ahead and do that. And the most common items that are going to be used for making these foods, we just take a look at what we're working with here. Cornmeal, wheat flour for this guy. Maple syrup is in a tank, that's already fine. Canola oil's in a tank, already fine. Beets, corn, obviously. Bell peppers, more canola oil, again, that's fine. We've got bell peppers again, corn again, tomatoes, apples and wheat flour. So wheat flour appears more than once. We've got corn appears more than once, and then corn products appear more than once. But I think what's going to make the most sense to be right here is going to be stuff that can also be eaten raw. Like, say, for example, beets. Very smart thing to have right here. Also, keep in mind, we have to be able to crush these things. So I'm just going to go with beets. And then corn. Raw storage. That's going to be a very important thing for a lot of stuff. And then we already have some storage for these other products elsewhere, or we'll be able to take care of it elsewhere. We're going to want to have storage for apples, because that's a ready-to-eat food. And also gets used in recipes. And then I believe we probably don't need to have raw storage of that extreme quantity for bell peppers, even though we don't have any storage for bell peppers. But we still might want to consider that. Tomatoes, what? I don't know. I'm also not going to limit myself to just having these things right here. This is just to start. Since we don't have any storage for bell peppers at all, I guess I probably should have one. I don't know. And if you disagree, feel free to let me know what you'd rather have seen here, or some other variation thereof. Please remember, we do still have the option to put stuff here. We're not saying we're never going to have storage for anything else. It's just what I'm prioritizing currently. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out of there. I'm going to put these ladders in here and here, because that's going to allow them to get upstairs pretty easily. Depending on how I want to have this set up, we probably could put some ladders on this outside here as well. But I did want them to be able to have access to some of this stuff sooner rather than later. Alright, again, still 10,000 food. We're looking totally fine. This has dried up. So this is nicely irrigated. This is nicely irrigated. And now that has basically confirmed, oh, all their crops are going to die. You know... Well, of course that was going to happen. Okay, look. Well, I solved that problem really quickly, didn't I? Yeah, that... Alright. Not my finest moment here. But, depending on how we want to have this laid out... Remember, I did say I wanted to have stuff be a little more organized. And I guess one way to do that is just to kill everything. Ugh. That's just not... Generally speaking, is not a smart thing to do. But I guess I could leave that guy there. I also can't forget to put in the actual, the water dumps. Fine to have that. I'm thinking I might need to consider swapping this farmhouse to this other side of this path here if we want actual irrigation of everything. This also isn't all the way up, which I did say we're going to do. So let's go ahead and pause this when it gets to, say, 0.94. And then I guess I could unpause. I could leave the unpause down at 0.11 probably. If this doesn't have any effect on the actual radius, I don't think it does. But, we can just do stuff just because. There's no rule that says the dog can't play basketball. Let's go ahead and make sure these are prioritized by haulers before we get too carried away. That didn't take it all. That's the wrong building. There we go. Alright. So yeah, I realize I just killed a bunch of crops because I was, let's just say not making the most intelligent decision possible. Oh, I can't put dynamite until the crops die. Alright, well that's happening quickly anyway. So, if we're going to keep the path here, path going across this way probably makes sense. But we have the opportunity to kind of align things a little bit better here. We can move this. It doesn't have to stay there. But if that comes... Ooh. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. That actually, it's going to make a lot more sense. Very careful not to remove this entirely. But we can... It's free to build. Free to build the district center. We can just put it somewhere else. Move it somewhere else. The absolute death grip that SpongeBob has on internet culture and humor needs to be studied, honestly. But now this can get disconnected here. That's fine to have there. Of course, this is unconnected. That can be removed. I don't need to have this on triple speed while we're doing all this. So this is actually just the entrance for this one engine. So having everything run through here is going to force the beavers to, you know, actually do things intelligently. But honestly, there's probably not that much of a benefit to me just completely disconnecting this here, because this is a more straightforward path to all of the food things. So I guess I'll leave that. I'll leave that in. But getting this a little bit more organized. I know we could have gone straight here. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, hey, this is drying out here. Okay. But those are ready to go. You know what? I didn't even link these. Okay, we got a lot of stuff to do. Before we get too comfy with ourselves. Get that out of there. This hauling post. I do have another one, right? Yes, I do. Oh, no. I don't want the hauling post to be minimum priority. Alright, before I get myself any more confused than I already am, because I've done too many things at the same time. Again, I know. That never happens. I need to put the district center somewhere else. And I guess it honestly probably is fine where it is, but I like the idea of it being in a kind of central location, especially if we're going to be making this into a separate district. It really doesn't matter where it goes. But we'll go ahead. Get rid of that. Nothing's connected. Everybody's running around screaming. It's okay. Don't worry. Oh, I could just put it down here in the hole. That would be dumb. I could put this down here. I could put it down here. I could put it on top of something. We could put it up here. The opportunities are endless. Possibilities endless. But anyway, if I move it away from here, then this could all be farming. Not that we really need this much space, but I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to just put it somewhere else. Oh, you know what? This is almost a perfect location. Almost a perfect location. Well, I can move it again if I don't like it. We'll just put it there. That's going to be fine. This is going to go away. That's done. That's done. Remember, we're going to have trees planted here. But we need to be able to put in an actual water dump. So, based on, you know, the amount of not wet occurring here, it probably should be somewhere right around here. But, remember, we have the ability to measure length here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 15 tiles from this. So if the irrigation was centered on this, it wouldn't quite reach over here. Distance from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 would be here. I think it's going to be beneficial for us to put this on this north side. I know it's probably not actually north. Put it on this side of this path. And on this side of this path. So I could just do this. But if we want to have all of this irrigated as well, it is going to have to be moved over just a couple. And again, it really doesn't matter that much where it is. I'm going to say here is going to make the most sense. Path go over part of it, and then I will put in that as well. Get that taken care of. And pretty soon we can replant all of our stuff. As it stands now, I feel pretty safe saying that. First of all, can they build that? No. All right, we'll have to let them take care of that. I know stopping in the middle of sentences is quite irritating, but I'm going to go ahead and get this corn planted here, all the way across. Like I said, basically halfway through the farmhouse. As soon as these 2 contamination barriers are erected, I will move this path here. But this is a lot of corn. That's a lot of corn. That's going to be nice and helpful for us. This guy has nothing to do. I know. I know. We'll get you fixed. Get you fixed. This, I'm just going to kind of have to leave like this until we get something else figured out. But the process will continue here. I'm going to, instead of having this be a massive detour, I'm just going to have that go through here. And then I'll go ahead and cut off this part right there. That's probably fine. There we go. Yes, we will automate these before we're finished today. I just want to make sure we're looking a little bit better. Cycle 18 just started. So this would be a very good time. Well, once we have these things sorted out, this probably is a little bit more important, but I would like to try to remember to take care of that. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that. Ah, that's right, I removed this. So I thought that would be a smart thing to do. Is this actually still out of range? Nope, super is. That should fix that. Just get that blocked up. Little bits and pieces. 1 bit at a time. 80%. You know what? I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait. I will wait for the rest of these, but I'm not going to wait for these two. We don't have to be beholden to that. That's set to supply. This one can be the new set to supply. This can just be a fillet if you want to. Yeah, and I got to ideally get this filled in with terrain, but not quite there yet. Right, nobody else is walking on this, right? Nobody's walking here. Oh, come on, click on the dynamite. There we go. Beautiful. You know the drill. Not there. Don't need to keep pausing it there. Farmhouse here. We've got a path here. And then we've got a fluid dump here. Now, friends, yes. Let us attach string gauge. So, I always, for whatever reason, this always just messes with me. I'm going to pause above 0.9 and unpause under... Sure, we'll just go with that. All of this in the name of bringing up... Wow, 25... Wait, hold on. I really have 25 unemployed beavers? How did that happen? Oh, please tell me this is going to reach. Okay, I can still grow stuff there, but it's going to be a little bit dicey, little bit dicey. So, some of these apparently are going to die. That's unfortunate. I really thought I had that figured out. Oh well, we'll get it figured out. I say as I just admitted... Wait, this still isn't in range? Are you serious? Oh, man. Oh, that's so annoying. Well. Do I dare say it again? We'll get it figured out. Alright, get that hooked up there. This goes away. And now, I have so much more room for corn. So yes, let's go ahead. I think this is pretty much bomb-proof over here. I'm going to go ahead and say corn around to that. I'm not going to go all the way out. Not going to go all the way out. We don't have to have a path preserved through here either because we can just have this come this way. That's totally fine. I just want to make sure the corn gets going because that's something that is very annoying to have to deal with. And right here in the middle, nobody's stuck there currently. I'm going to plant some wheat because that's a very important thing for us to have access to. That's probably about enough right there, I think. This campfire also probably can go somewhere. But remember, I want to plant these trees. So we're going to have a temporary forester so we can actually get these things in and get those apple trees going. Is this actually going to reach all the way to the corner? I guess it doesn't really matter. No, it won't, but they'll grow in there anyway. What we will need to do, however, is we will need to have a gatherer flag accessible for all of this, which, is that going to reach all the way? Yes. Oh, almost. But that's fine. We'll just leave that guy there. This one for here. This one for here. Just plant the trees, and we're going to move on with our lives like nothing ever happened. But progress is being made. We still have 9,000, 9,300 food. Okay, so corn, and then I may come back to eat this later. Well, not literally because it's a computer game, but the wheat we might need to have more of. But I feel like we've created so much additional space that I'm going to be fine. Just with that much, we'll be good. All right, so that's what takes a long time to grow. That's 10 days. Canola is also part of that. Canola is also one of those things that is really important. So I feel like it should be kind of close to some other stuff, and I'm probably going to put another farmhouse here, let's be honest. I'm gonna say this should be enough canola for right now. I just want to get that started growing. And then the rest of this we're going to have to just kind of, I think stripe would be a smart choice. We have so many beavers who aren't working. So I'm just going to say, you know what? You get a farmhouse. Maybe not up here. It's probably not necessary. But hey, there we go. Another bad tide coming in. Aren't you glad we took care of all this? Yeah, see, I wish... I guess this really honestly doesn't matter to have this this blocked up or not. Especially since now we're in the meat and potatoes of the playthrough where it's just bad tides all the time. Technically, the default number is 40% bad tide. It just is going to seem like you're getting them all the time if that's not what you're wanting to see here. Oh boy, I'm rambling again. Let's just start putting down some crops. If you've got ideas, please do always feel free to leave those in the comments in terms of how you'd like things to be arranged. But this guy right here, I think is going to be... this does not need to be right there. That tooth grindstone can easily go somewhere else. Like over here-ish. Yeah, I'll just do that. Wait, why is this empty? Right. No, I want to do this in the daytime. And then I think we are going to end episode at the start of this bad tide. Just to try to keep things roughly separated. Helps me track my thoughts a little bit better as well. Alright, so single speed. We don't have to rush through this. We have the technology. This guy right here, like I've been trying to say until I get super distracted. Lots of crossover between all three of these. So the closest crops to this guy, I think, should be the shortest growing ones, which would be radishes, tomatoes, and beets. Well, I guess bell peppers too. So all four of these guys. So I probably... Honestly, somebody probably actually did the math and I just don't remember it. But we're going to need a lot of beets. We're going to need a lot of bell peppers. And we're going to need comparatively fewer tomatoes. But beets and radishes for beet and radish juice. And then beets later on, of course, for the fuel that we're going to be getting into. But again, we have time. We have time to do this. So I'm just going to do some striping like we did kind of in our playthrough with the live stream. But this area right here, I'm going to just say all bell peppers. Nice and easy thing to do. Just bell peppers, bell peppers, bell peppers, bell peppers. So that's easy enough to just put down here. We know for sure. This is radishes. This is tomatoes. And this is beets, which we can easily just turn right around like this. And there we go. We got a nice little... just like that. Sound effects included. But we're not going to need equal amounts of all of these. So for right now... That was a weird thing. For right now, I'm just going to do this pattern a little bit more. We'll see where this lines up. Probably don't need that many radishes, so that's going to be fine there. I don't dare make this corn again. Or maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe we just have an absolutely, completely insane quantity of corn. If it ends up being too much, we can do something else with it. So, yeah, I hereby bequeath everything to corn. Is this still not in range? Are you serious, dude? Come on. I think at some point I would learn how to count. But basically what this has done here is we've got beets. We got beets, so we have 4 rows of beets. We've got 6 rows of radishes, and we've got 4 rows of tomatoes. Probably don't need to have that many radishes, but if we continue that this way, then that's actually not going to be that much compared to the amount of beets that we're going to be growing. And then tomatoes, again, we can adjust this at any time. It's easy to rip it out. So if we decide it doesn't work, then we will change it. But for right now, I think that is, at the very least, a somewhat interesting looking crop variety, and we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and put this path in place here. And then, of course, we have all this space too, so don't worry. Don't worry, it's going to be all right. Going to be just fine. We got some more trees to plant. We'll let them do that, but then this will go away. Just as a reminder, we can put some other stuff in here. Bell peppers. Is this actually wet enough to grow? It is. I think over here we probably want to do a similar thing. Remember that I've got this guy here. But we have the extra beavers. It does us no harm to have extra hands or paws, I guess, if you want to be specifically thematic about it. Let's put another farmhouse in. Totally fine. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, but maybe more focused on tomatoes and bell peppers. So if I were to do, say... Well, actually, let's be smart about it. I just had a brain moment there. You remember, if you were of a certain age, the seemingly like life or death allegiance people had in like primary school toward brands of crayons. Well, at least in the United States, we had Crayola, we had Rosart, and then whatever generic brand, whatever. And all I remember is people would get really mad about Rosart crayons. Like, I don't know, Crayola probably goes objectively better, but people get like upset if you gave them Rosart crayons. And the box always said whatever their slogan, like "Think smart, Rosart." Then some kid would always just go nuclear over it. It's like, it's not smart, it's stupid. Like, why does this matter? It's a crayon. You're coloring a picture in kindergarten. It's not the end of the world. Oh no, it's waxier than the other crayon. Life is over. I don't know. Why are we having that discussion at minute 53 of episode 11 of the Emberpelts hard mode thing? Because that's what my brain decided to do. For better or for worse. Usually for the worse, but that's fine. Tomatoes. I'm attempting. Kind of. Tomatoes, bell peppers. I'll just put these in rows here. The reason I'm not putting anything here is because I have to decide what I'm doing with these contamination barriers. I imagine it's probably going to make much more sense. Just go ahead and remove this and put that there, and then to get rid of those. I have to decide what I'm doing with contamination barriers, he says, before doing exactly what he should have been doing with contamination barriers the whole time. Okay. Oh, if I move this, I've got room for... Okay, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Not gonna lose sleep over it. We're gonna do things that make sense. That's what we decided we're gonna do. If I move that there, not only... Sheesh. Oh, wait, no, that does give me room. Nice. Not only does that do that, but then it's... Mom, he's being incoherent again. Just look, it's okay. Just leave him alone. We'll get it figured out. But yes, I have this, I think. Yeah, that's good. So that'll get connected. If these don't get, connected all at the same time, that's fine. Although these are still dry and that's annoying, but hey, whatever. Now, who is the genius that rotated this way? I don't think that was smart. So I'm not going to... There we go again. Now I'm thinking about crayons again. I'm not going to remove this yet, but we do need to rotate this so it's actually in line with this. All right. Oh, are they not going to plant this because it's dry? It's too dry. Am I really going to have to do something about this? All right. Well, easy thing to do is to artificially embiggen the lake. That might buy us a little bit of time. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This is completely absurd. That's fine. Bell peppers, tomatoes, So this one probably should be tomatoes. Then this one should be bell peppers. I know for a fact this is already more than we've planted before I rearranged stuff. So I don't necessarily want to fill in the rest of this at this exact point in time. But we'll keep our eyes peeled. We'll keep things where they need to be kept. Oh, look at this. We've got storage, and it's not full because we haven't been growing any crops. Well, why did that happen? I wonder why. I wonder why. But now I'm really curious why we have so many unemployed beavers. I know I got rid of one hauling post. That only accounts for 10. That only accounts for 10. We are going to rebuild it. But is that just population growth, or is that because I had these other things permanent? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Not worried about it. Clearly. That will just go right there. Should be nice and easy to just get rid of that nastiness there. And yeah, that's looking good. I mean, we've already done the hardest part of this in terms of getting things situated and not allowing the beavers to die of starvation or anything like that. So yes, when it's not bad water nasty over here, then yeah, we'll probably put this in place and then put in sluices. But as of right now, it's not a prudent use of our resources, our labor, or anything like that. But we do want to be doing that before we get too far. And yes, I am aware that we are out of scrap metal. And there is no more scrap metal in the nearby vicinity that isn't also in Badwater or, well, not in the nearby vicinity. Except this. But it's also not really in the nearby vicinity. But what I'll go ahead and do, since we have so many unemployed beavers, is we'll just go ahead and put something like that in there, and I can build them a pile, because there's no reason not to. And they can start dismantling this. But, how many times have I said but? We need to get started on putting this underground ruins in place. And oh boy, look at this. We're already almost at an hour, and I said we were going to be done. We have the science. Going to go ahead and unlock the mine. And we are going to start the process of building at some point. This is a good place for it. But I guess this could be the last thing we end up doing today. I'm just going to put that in place. I don't think I need to run any paths on any of this. But just because I can, we'll do that. Get this coming this way. Now that we have ladders, we actually can build. Let's... Come on. There we go. Just make a nice cut through here. And we will need to connect this, but I'm going to save that for some other time. Just to demonstrate that, yes, I am actually trying to get this situated the way it's supposed to be. That's something we're going to work on next episode. But I feel like today was still very productive, and I'm going to go ahead and do our end of episode stuff now. Why is this not running? Oh, because this doesn't have priority stuff. All right, that's fine. Yeah, you guys are tremendously helpful in getting all of this taken care of. All of the support for the channel has just been incredibly great as we approach 17,000 subscribers, which is wild. I never thought it would... I never thought it would even get to 1,000 in the first place, or 100, let alone any of the rest of this. But I really appreciate you. I'm glad we get to spend this time together. I really appreciate all the feedback, positive, constructive, whatever it is. And I hope that you'll stick with this series as we continue. I would love to do some really cool, larger builds with this, because the Emberpelts have a lot of really fun stuff they can do. And I like the newer buildings and all that stuff with that. So while we wait for update 7 to come out. We don't know when that's going to be on experimental, but while we wait, we can occupy ourselves with this, and then yes, the apocalypse mode will be coming back. I'm not abandoning that series. I just needed to take some time off of that and attend to some other things. But I really appreciate your support. We'll go ahead and end this one here, and then we'll pick up in, I guess, yeah, Friday's video for the beginning of this bad tide here, which we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I got. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.